Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a little while since I uploaded a video, but May kind of got a little hectic and then I caught COVID and it just kind of knocked me out for a while, so I'm back now. Now, I'm sure you were expecting something with my R35 GTR, and obviously this is not an R35. You may recognize this car, it's been on my channel a couple times. This is Mike's R32 Nissan Skyline GTR. And today we're gonna be doing some work on it. Now, what we're gonna be working on today is something that I've actually had an issue with every 90s car that I've owned, and that is the window regulators gone bad. Now, when you're working with these cars, they are getting kind of old, so they still run a cable system. And the window regulator is gonna break on you in one of two locations. One is the motor itself just goes bad and it doesn't want to go up and down, or two, the cable snaps. Either way, you end up in a situation where you either can't roll your window up or down, or it's stuck in the down position, which is a really bad thing to have, especially in Southern California. So we're going to be working on that today. Now, apparently when it comes to the R32, there's also a relay which is known to go bad. Now, we've already checked it and the relay is good, which leads us to believe it is definitely the regulator. So we're going to show you how to take the door card off and replace all of the stuff on the inside. Before we get started though, two things. One, if you do like automotive, particularly GTR content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And two, if you'd like to support the channel, I do have the JD Archer shop. If you go to jdarcher.bigcartel.com, you can see a limited selection of t-shirts and hats I've designed that are for sale. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start digging into the car and getting this window working. Before we get started taking things apart, I want to do what I do in all of my other videos where I showed you how to work on a car, and that is I want to run you through all the parts and tools you're going to need to get this job done. That way you don't ever find yourself in a situation where you have the door card off and all of a sudden you realize you need a tool or part and you need to make an emergency run down to Home Depot or Pep Boys to get what you need. Now, of course, you're just going to need a standard toolkit to get this done. As you can see, this is Craftsman. For those of you that have been following my channel for a while, you know I'm a fan of Craftsman. I've been using them for decades. I highly recommend them. I love that whole no questions asked tool replacement program they have. Then of course, I also highly recommend having trim removal tools. You're gonna want these because when we start to take the door card off, there are clips in there. And these help prevent you from either breaking the clips or scratching the paint behind the door card, because you don't want rust to develop in this car, because it's actually notorious for getting rust. So I heavily recommend having these. And then of course you're gonna need, this is the hardest piece to get for this job, and that is the window regulator itself. With this car being 25 years old, these parts are getting harder and harder to find. Now, yes, Nissan does have the Heritage program, which they started up a few years ago, and they started producing parts for this car again. The window regulator, though, is not one of those parts that's in production yet, so it's really hard to find. Now, I am going to leave a list in the description down below with all of the tools and parts used in this project. That way, if this is something you want to do, all you have to do is scan down that list. If you need something, click on the link. It's going to take you exactly where you need to go to get that tool. However, I'm not going to be able to do that with the window regulators. Like I said, they're really hard to find, and most places that used to stock them don't have them anymore. But what I will do for you is I'm going to go ahead and leave a list of all the places that I used to use to find these parts. So if it is something you do need, I can at least start pointing you in the right direction to find this part. And of course, Mike, he found a connection that actually was able to help him with a Japanese auction site, which is how he got them. And I will go ahead and leave a link on how to contact those people as well to help you get going in case this is something you need to do. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get the door card off and start replacing the window regulator. To get started, of course, we're gonna have to take the door card off. It's actually not that difficult of a project to do. So you're gonna see you've got some screws down here along the bottom of the door card we're gonna have to take off. You got these two caps right here, which have got another couple of screws. There is a hidden one though here in the actual cup. You need a flathead to pop off this cover, and there's another screw there. This pops off with a flathead screwdriver, as does this. We're gonna disconnect some wires, and then this whole thing should just come right on off. electronics that need to be disconnected. And there we go, so we got the door card off. As you can see, as with any project, there's always more bolts. There's a few I missed in the initial discussion, like there was one that was behind the window switch. There's also one kind of here underneath where the pull is on the door. So we got those all out. We've now got this off. So what we're gonna do now is just move this plastic out of the way. And I'll show you what we're gonna do is we're gonna unbolt the glass first from the regulator. There's some bolts, I can see them right here. It just comes right on out. Actually, let's go and take this off. That way we can move the plastic a little bit easier. Oh, you know what though? I know why it might not be working. Where is the window switch? Might not be a completed circuit without the actual window switch. Okay, so we did test the new window regulator to prove that it worked, and it did. Now it didn't at first because we had removed the door panel. Just so you know, if you remove the window switch on this side, it disrupts the circuit, so it won't work even if it is good. So if you do want to test your product before you put it in the car, make sure you do connect the window switch, otherwise no power will go through. But now that that's done, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and remove the glass. Fortunately, Nissan made it very simple. There's a hole here and there's a hole here. You take off the nuts in there and we should clear the window. Then we'll go ahead and remove the bolts here, here, as well as down here. And that should pretty much clear out the regulator, and it looks like it slides out here through the top, which is a little unusual, but you know, all cars are different. All right, so this is one of those situations where I heavily recommend having two people, because as we start taking these bolts off, we don't want the window to slide down and crack and break, and that's just a whole another expense and headache, especially because I'm not gonna be able to find these in the US, so we're gonna go ahead and start with taking these bolts off, like I said, and get the window out. These are just bump stops. But if we can't roll, so there's 4 bolts here holding the window onto the regulator. And yeah.
Oh yeah, I see the other 2 now.
Yeah.
And you can't get to those from here.
So that's holding that, and then there's 2 right here which are holding the bump stops. Now I think typically if the window was down, it'd be real easy. See, you got a hole right here, you got holes right here.
Yeah, but the window, yeah.
We might have to take this all out as one ordeal. So I'm gonna definitely take out these bump stops all the way.
Oh, there goes. Push it back.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
There's one other option.
You know what? Yeah, I know exactly what to do. My ratcheting box wrenches. Let's see if I can get you on there, you see. And there's no way we can get this to roll down? Because if we can get it like right here, then the bolts are just like right there.
Let me try.
Okay. So literally all we're down to is that last guy right there. Got it. All right, so as we've learned, even if you can get the nuts and bolts off, which we did to get the window free, if the regulator is broken up top, it can't get past because there's actually studs in the glass. If there's just 4 bolts, we would have been able to just slide it right out, but that's not the case. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and just clip the wire. Hopefully it can slide down far enough, because as you can see, there's a lot more room down here than there is up here, and we should be able to get it free of the window regulator. All right, ready? Yep. Nope, it should be fine.
Alright, here's the question.
All right, so we have now put in these two bolts, loosely done the top ones, but we need to adjust. There's dashes in here to put a flathead because you're gonna have to adjust the window in and out. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Good. Yeah, keep going down. You go down a lot. Keep going down. All right, so I might have to take over. Okay, so that is set. So what we need to figure out now is we need to calibrate the window, because if it's too far in this way, when you close it, it's gonna hit this too much and it'll put extra flex on the window and can break it over time. So we have a couple of bolts right here that we can kind of adjust, and it'll adjust where these windows sit. So we're gonna be doing that right now. That looks about right to me. Right. Yeah, looking at this area right here, it looks right. And there it is. We have now replaced the window regulator on this R32 Nissan Skyline GTR. As a little note, we did run into a little bit of an issue. I know I said that this is typically supposed to be a very easy job, and of course, every time you say that, there's always that one thing that hangs you up and turns a 1-hour job into a 3-hour job. In this case, the car did something really unique. It broke with the window still up. Usually when the window regulator fails, usually the cable snaps and the window falls all the way down, or the motor just kind of gives out and it goes down and won't have the power to bring the window back up. So this was a bit of a rare situation, and it created an issue because the door is designed that you can get the window out when it's all the way down. There's plenty of holes down there and plenty of space to get the bolts to clear the regulator. When it's up at the top though, there's really no spot to get a wrench in there. As you saw, we kind of had to experiment and try some different tools to actually get the nuts and bolts off, and then the window wouldn't clear the window seal. So what we had to do was actually cut the cables so we can get the window down and get it free and clear. So if you run into an issue with your car where it breaks with it up, you're gonna have to clip the cables. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go hit that thumbs up button to let me know. It does help the channel out a lot. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you'd like to see more automotive, particularly GTR content in the future, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on all forms of social media, which include Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. I'll leave links to all those in the description down below. Also, as I said, if there are any tools or parts you need that you saw in this video, I will list them in the description along with links to where you can get them. As a caveat on this particular video though, as I did say, those window regulators are getting really hard to find, so I can't guarantee any of the links I leave for it will actually have them in stock. but I'll leave as many as I can to give you the best chance of finding one. If you have any questions about this procedure or you feel there's anything I missed, go and post in the comment section down below. I will respond to you. I thank you all for watching, and until next time, forget everything else, focus on the finish line.